Welcome back to another adventure. Exactly 1 month ago, we wrapped up our journey along Route 66. Since then, I've been working on my first memoir film. It's been a much bigger project than I originally anticipated, and while it's still coming together, I've decided I can't keep putting our adventures on hold. So today marks the beginning of our next chapter. We're leaving Williams, Arizona behind as we begin making our way north towards Bryce Canyon, Utah, where I'll be spending the season working at Ruby's Inn. It's a drive I've been looking forward to, but before we can get there, we're making a stop in Page, Arizona, to check out a place that's become surprisingly popular over the last few years. So without further ado, let's hit the road.
Okay, Rocky, say goodbye to the uncle. He's going back to the dreaded Michigan for 6 months.
While at first glance this looks just like a regular gas station, it's what's right behind it that actually made the place blow up online. Going viral in late 2023, some say it's the most beautiful gas station on the planet. Just a short walk behind the station is Beatty the Arch, completely free to visit and an easy little stop if you're passing through Page. And honestly, it makes for a pretty solid pit stop on a drive like this. But while this is my first time actually stopping at this gas station, it isn't my first time in Page. In fact, years before I ever stood here, I came through this exact area during a completely different chapter of my life. And that's where today's story takes an unexpected turn. Here we go. Woke up at 4:50 in the morning. It's currently 5:10 and I am going on my Antelope and Horseshoe Bend hike. They should be picking me up in 10 minutes here, so I gotta hurry up and get across the casino and wait for them at the entrance.
You want to talk about weird? How about being in Vegas and not seeing practically anybody? Everybody is sleeping right now. But I'm at the north entrance right now, where they said to pick up the north entrance, the tour bus pickup. They said it's the same as Uber, and there's the Uber pickup. It is currently 5:25. It was supposed to get here 5 minutes ago. They did say that the bus might run late, so hopefully that's just the case, and I'm in the right location. Otherwise, I don't want to think about if this is not the right spot. This is the only exit and entrance on the north side of the building, so it's gotta be it. So, fingers crossed here. Okay, so we made it to stop one, our Flying J gas station. I bought some fruit snacks and a bag of classic chips, and we're gonna get back on the road here. We still have about 3 hours.
Trout, so it's extremely low. However, it's a long river. It starts all the way at the Navajo Mountains, which is right near where we're going today. Goes through Zion National Park in the area where they call the Narrows. And then ultimately feeds into Lake Mead, which is where Hoover Dam is.
Stop number 2, the border store. We are in Utah right now, and about 2 hours away or so from Page, Arizona.
See out there, that's the marina.
You've arrived at your destination.
On the left, you'll see Glen Canyon Dam, and on the right, you'll see the Colorado River about 1,000 feet down. Horseshoe Bend is 8 miles downriver from here. That dam was built in 1966. It produces electricity for 7 different states, I believe. I think he had 7. Yeah.
As we arrive at Antelope Canyon, one thing you'll probably notice about these Lost in Time episodes is that they aren't perfect snapshots of the past. Time has a way of taking little pieces with it. Some footage is missing, some emotions have faded, and some stories are incomplete. But they're still chapters of my life worth sharing. So back in November of 2022, I was in a very different session of my life. My attempt at living full-time on the road had come to an end, and I returned to Michigan to take a full-time job at the local college. This trip was my first vacation during the first semester, and in many ways it reminded me what I was working towards. Ironically, being back in a traditional job also made this trip possible. Rocky could stay safely boarded while I was gone, and for the first time in a while, I didn't have to think about the campground reservations, fuel costs, or the logistics of traveling with a home on wheels. For just a few days, all I had to do was enjoy the adventure. Because it's located on Navajo land, Antelope Canyon can only be visited as part of a guided tour led by members of the Navajo Nation. Photography was allowed, but video wasn't. So these are some of the moments I was able to bring home. As we made our way through the canyon, our guide explained how thousands of years of rushing water carved these narrow sandstone walls into the incredible shapes we see today. At one point, they even demonstrated the process by pouring water across the sand, showing how something as simple as flowing water can slowly shape an entire landscape over time. The guides also knew all the best photography spots, Every so often, we'd stop as a group, quickly take photos of each other, and then continue moving along. With tours passing through constantly, there wasn't much time to linger, so many of these photos were captured in just a matter of seconds before it was time to move on. As incredible as Antelope Canyon was, the day was far from over, however. Our next stop would take us to one of the most recognizable overlooks in the American Southwest. Our final stop of the day was Horseshoe Bend. Like most tour stops, our time here was limited. It takes about 20 minutes to walk from the parking lot to the overlook and another 20 minutes to walk back. That left us with roughly 20 minutes to actually experience one of the most iconic views in the American Southwest. Now, I took the photos you're seeing here, but one memory from this stop has stayed with me all these years. After taking in the view, I wandered away from the crowds and found a quiet place overlooking Horseshoe Bend. For about 5 minutes, I simply sat there and meditated. It might not sound like much, but it's still one of my favorite travel memories. In a world where we're constantly trying to see everything, photograph everything, and move on to the next destination, I paused and gave myself permission to simply be present in the moment. Looking back, I don't remember exactly what was going through my mind that afternoon. Like I mentioned before, time has a way of taking little pieces with it, but I do remember the feeling of peace. And somehow, that's enough. Soon it was time to take the walk back to the van and begin the long journey back towards Las Vegas, bringing an unforgettable day in Page, Arizona to a close. I don't think I realized it at the time, but that trip would end up sitting quietly in the background of everything that came after. So fast forward back to today, and here I am back in Page, Arizona, standing at a completely different stop on a completely different journey, and somehow it feels like I've been here before in more ways than one. And from Page, we just kept heading north. The desert stretched on for miles until the red rock of southern Utah started to appear again, signaling my arrival to Bryce Canyon. This is where I'll be spending the next chapter of my journey, working, living, and continuing the adventures out here in the West. And in the next cinematic videos, I'll take you inside that world with me. So make sure to like, subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next adventure.